Coach, what was kind of your goals to get done during the bye week once the guys got back?
I think number one, get everyone healthy who's banged up a little bit. Obviously, you got, anytime you get into the season, you're never 100%. That's what playing football is. So you got guys with, sore shoulders or, tweaked ankles, whatever it may be. But I think we accomplished that. We got guys back healthy, got a couple good days of work in during the bye week, and coaches got out and recruit a little bit. And then obviously we're right in the heart of prep right now for Alabama.
I talked to a couple players yesterday from your side of the ball, and I know your goal is to shut every team out, and that's what you want. But it seems like your defense has been good late in ball games and making those key stops to get the ball back to the offense. And obviously Texas A&M that last series pretty much shut the game and gave you all the victory. What do you think stems from that? Is it confidence? I mean, obviously they gain confidence, but is that just having an older team that's been in those situations before?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's just because it means we put in the preparation and the work all week, and that allows you to, not be thinking and play fast and just cut it loose and react and have fun. But, yeah, I mean, obviously we got the job done late in the game there. Last game, I know we've had a couple, leads at halftime, and we didn't finish out the game on top. So, to me, and on defense, the mindset's always that if you ever got a lead, right, the game's on your shoulders. And so hopefully that's the mindset of our guys.
Brian Robinson had 24 carries for Alabama last week. Where do you think he ranks among future backs?
I think he had more than that, didn't he?
24 carries against Stanton.
Where do I rank him?
Yeah, in the SEC among future running backs.
Oh, obviously it's an incredibly talented league at the running back position. Obviously we got two really talented ones. I joke with the linebackers. I said I got a feeling when I see him pregame, I'm gonna wish he was playing inside linebacker for us more than any of you guys. So, yeah, I think he's gonna look that good.
What goes into stopping him or trying to stop him?
Well, you better get multiple hats to the ball, and you better run your feet on contact because he will punish tacklers, and I love watching him play. I mean, he runs the ball, the way you want a running back to run it, and so. Yeah, he's athletic enough. He'll make guys miss. He can change directions, and he's not afraid to lower his shoulder and drop the hammer on tacklers.
You've got a guy like that. If I'm not mistaken, he's only lost 11 yards the entire year. So it's like when you got a guy that runs with a forward lean and kind of falls forward. How do you combat that? How do you stop him before he gets going?
No, I mean, obviously you got to be really sound in your assignments. Hopefully we can penetrate and get in the backfield on some plays and get him before he really gets rolling. But you go back and watch last year's game and you see what Najee Harris is capable of doing, and he's a big time NFL back now, and you're just as impressed on the tape with what Robinson's doing. So we better buy into the philosophy of pursuit to the football and getting 11 hats to the ball, because you certainly need it when you're playing a run game like this.
He's got a pretty good quarterback next to him, too. I mean, what have you kind of seen from Bryce Young at such a young age to be making plays like he is?
I just think it verifies why he was the big-time recruit he was. I was in Southern California, I think, when he was coming out of Mater Dei, or, pretty close there. And obviously he was 5-star, and all he's done is justified. He can make all the throws. He's quick with decisions. What's his ratio? I think 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, something like that. I mean, it's his talent's off the charts, and then obviously he puts in the preparation, and he's at an incredible program where they're getting great scheme and great coaching, and it's showing up on Saturday. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge going up against him.
Coach, a lot of names like Martin Emerson and Brule and Emmanuel Forbes were mentioned coming into this season, but Cameron Young didn't get much hype, and obviously he didn't play as much last year. But when did you start seeing that build up with him and the way he's been producing this year?
Yeah, and he probably got in the game. He probably started seeing significant action, I would say, the second half of the season last year. And I'll say this, I can remember a specific play in my head right now. We're at Georgia, and he's at nose, and we loop him into a guard, and that guard blocks down on him, and he locks him out. It's textbook, just what you want from a D lineman. I would say since then, I'd be willing to say he's probably been our most consistent interior guy, and he's playing really well for us right now. And then when you look at him, he's big, strong, and does what you want interior D lineman to do. So I love having him.
In the last 2 games, you've had a couple plays where guys have failed to wrap up on sacks, and it's led to some big gains. Have you put an extra emphasis on that, finishing those plays in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, we don't it usually doesn't take a lot of emphasis to tell a guy, hey, you better finish off a sack if you have one. You know, they're pretty frustrated that they didn't get the job done. So, but hopefully we will finish up some of those opportunities that we've missed.
Were there any second or third stringers during the bye week that kind of stood out to you, given their opportunity?
You know what? I think there's a chance Corey Ellington may be out there as the season rolls along. You know, I don't know if it'll be this week, but true freshman we're really excited about, and the physical change, the development of his body since he showed up to now. I mean, he looks like what you want an SEC safety to look like, and so as he's getting more comfortable with the assignment and the scheme stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him out there over the next coming weeks.
Has the biggest jump been with the scheme, or has it been kind of the physical side? Which side is it kind of?
I think it's probably been, I hate to say this, but a little bit of both. I mean, I don't know how much weight he's put on since he got here. I'd be willing to bet it's in the 15 to 20 pound range. I mean, he looks like, he looks like how you want him to look. But obviously it takes a lot of reps of being in the defense and learning the different assignments, and so he's done a nice job of that.
What's the key to disguising coverages?
I would like for someone to tell me, because we could do a little better job at it. But I think, typically it's, just not lining up and being static. And if you're going to play a too high or split safety defense, not just being in that look all the time. And if you're going to get to a one high defense, doing the opposite. So typically it's pre-snap disguise and then moving parts. But you can't obviously disguise yourself out of getting your job done. And so I don't know. I would refer you to the NFL guys. They do a lot better job of running guys from all crazy different angles and places, getting to their coverage assignments.
Now, do you have blitz packages that you change week to week depending on the look of an opponent, or is it pretty much something you install in fall camp and stick with?
I would say every week we're probably putting in some sort of game plan, blitz or pressure. And that's no secret. Obviously, there's something that shows up in game one that in game two something new will show up in game three. So we're always we just have fun doing it. That's why we're coaches, right? Or me personally, I like the X's and O's and the strategic scheme side of it. So I'm always going to do that for the defense staff. We're always going to do that. But I would say 95% of what we do is within the base package, week to week.
As a defensive coordinator, when you watch other SEC games that end up like Ole Miss, Arkansas, 52-51, what are you thinking when you watch those games? Are you critiquing along with the plays that are on the field when you see these high-scoring SEC games?
I did not get to watch that one. I was out recruiting on Saturday, and I'll just say, as a defensive guy, I was glad I was at watching a JC game rather than having to be the guy come up calling plays against those two offenses, which unfortunately I know. Like I said, it's like feeling like dead man walking, right? Because those two offenses are up on the schedule later this season. So I was just glad it wasn't my Saturday to be the guy having to call plays against those two teams.
Is there anything you needed?
And I'm not too excited about calling plays against this particular team either. So.
When you're approaching a game like this, is there anything you remind your players hey, don't overthink this, or at this point do they already know that pretty well? They don't need to anything.
No, I think it's the same. That's what I love about working for Coach Leach, and obviously he sets the tone and the culture, and it's just the most important thing is us preparing ourselves, right? Do your job, play the next play. So I don't have to worry too much about covering any of that stuff because it's getting covered on a daily basis from the head coach.
Shane Beamer was talking about it at South Carolina actually today about kind of building cultures in year one. What have you kind of seen from Coach Leach in year two that kind of made that culture, I guess, a little stronger, maybe resonate more with the players?
I just think it's probably an accumulation of you don't have COVID quarantine where you're not around the players for I don't know how many weeks that was in a row. So that's obviously a big time away from them in year one. But I just think it's more time in the system. And obviously Coach Leach is a proven culture builder. He's done it everywhere he's been, and it's led to really impressive results on the field. And obviously there's no reason why we don't expect the same to happen here.
San Diego State undefeated so far this year. Is it cool to see that for a team from a smaller conference that obviously you coached at?
Yeah, I got good buddies who work there, and so obviously we swap texts, and I tell them I typically do watch their film because they're still running the same defense, and right now they might actually be executing at a higher level. So you guys might want to keep their D coordinator's name in mind for the future after they run me out of here.
How important are the cowbells? I mean, to you guys, especially on defense, because defense a lot of times is play with emotion. So how important is it to be out here in front of your crowd in a big ball game with those cowbells going?
There's not a better atmosphere in college football. And I know our guys love playing in front of it. I know I love playing in front. It does make it a little hard if I got to yell an adjustment from the sideline. You know, that's one thing that last year is different than this year. Last year you're playing in, minimum capacity stadiums. There's no real noise, so you could yell from the sideline, "Hey, widen," or whatever you need to. This year that's a little harder to communicate from the sideline. So hopefully we're prepared to know our assignments, so we don't have to be yelling stuff and they won't be able to hear it with cowbells. But there's not a better atmosphere in college football.